Okay, I think, are we streaming now? Not yet. Yeah, it says it's being streamed. All righty. Thank you very much. Welcome everyone to the Local Government and Bi-County Agencies Subcommittee of the Environment and Transportation Committee. This is our first meeting, so first we'll say hello to everybody, and we'll get down to business very quickly because we only have a couple of bills, and we have two that have almost no amendments and no discussion. I mean, no amendments and no opposition in the record. So I think we could start with that. Ben, would you start with the first bill, House Bill 100?
Okay.
Number.
Thank you, Chair Ely. HB 100 is insurance pooling, public entities definition. It's cross-filed with Senate Bill 102. There's no fiscal impact. The testimony is all favorable. There are no amendments. It's supported by MACO. This bill authorizes a resilience authority to pull together with other entities, including other resilience authorities, to purchase insurance or self-insure against casualty, property, or health risks. And so resilience authorities are authorities that are incorporated by one or more local governments for the purpose of infrastructure projects related to things that mitigate climate change, flood barriers, green spaces, building elevation, and stormwater infrastructure. So that's some background. I think insurance pooling is helpful. It's a common practice done for competitive insurance rates and bargaining power. My understanding is that like looking at the bill, it's adding resilience authorities as part of what it means to be a public entity, and these public entities can pool together for casualty insurance and property insurance and the like. Resilience authorities are created by local governments, so you could say that they're a unit of local government, but we've looked into this. I looked into it with the library about what is a unit of local government, and it wasn't clear in this specific context, and the county attorney for Anne Arundel County also worked and submitted some testimony that is basically a legal memo on this subject as well, reiterating that it's unclear. So because it resolves concern by explicitly stating this, and it involves, taking action related to insurance pooling. I think that was the basis besides for just being extra clear here with this bill.
Okay. So this is basically a clarifying bill. It doesn't really make substantive changes. So is there any discussion, any questions from any members of the subcommittee? I see none. If somebody would like to make a motion.
I had my hand up, Madam Chair. I'd like to move the bill.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been properly moved. Is there a second? Oh, I'm sorry, Delegate Lehman, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. I am also prepared to second it, but I just wanted to clarify that this is a statewide bill, but the opinion or the concern was, or whoever weighed in was an Anne Arundel County attorney. Is that what I just heard?
That is correct. Actually, the only existing resilience body is in Anne Arundel County, although they are authorized statewide.
Okay, I thought Howard County had one too, but okay. All right, thank you for that. And I will second Delegate Foley's motion.
Okay. Any further discussion on the bill? There are no amendments. Ben, would you call the roll, please?
Sure. I don't have a lot of practice doing that, Cheerily. Is there a certain way you want me to?
Okay. Just if you go in alphabetical order, we'll go from
I can do that. Yeah.
And then what we do in Prince George's County is we alternate A to Z and then Z to A.
Sure. All righty.
So nobody is stuck being the first one every single time.
So I'll take a roll call vote then. Is that right?
Yeah, a roll call on the bill. And if it was just an amendment, we could do a voice vote, but
thank you. Addison.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Foley,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Tarasa,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Jacobs,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
and then, yep, that's, and then,
And I say yes as well.
okay, sweet.
Okay. So that the bill passes, so that will be before the full committee on the voting list tomorrow. Now we'll move on to House Bill 279. Ben?
Alrighty, 1 second. So House Bill 279, let's see. This is, 1 second. It's cross-file with Senate Bill 245. There's no fiscal impact. The testimony is all favorable. There are no amendments. This bill, what it concerns is at the end of a process for annexation, not substantively affecting annexation, but at the end of a process for annexation, the bill adds the Department of Planning to a list of entities that a municipality must send a copy of the annexed resolution. Currently, it's DLS, MNC, PPC if the municipality is in that region, the clerk of the county, where that municipality is located, things like that. But this helps ensure that MDP, which it's a departmental bill, is aware of this.
Are there any questions? If you raise your hand, wave something. I don't see any questions. So if you have a question and you haven't raised your hand, please speak up. If not, then we'll have this is a departmental bill and it does not appear to have any substantive changes to the law. It just sends a copy of the local government's decision to the Department of Planning, as well as other places where it's going already.
Madam Chair, I'll move
Madam
favorable.
Chair. Yeah, second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. I think I'm going to change the way we did that. I don't think we need to do a roll call. I'll do a voice vote, and any member can ask for a roll call if they want. Okay, so all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Hearing no nays, the bill passes, and we will have that on the full committee voting tomorrow as well. And we added a third bill. This was the original agenda, and we're finished with that part. But there was a third bill that we came across that also was not controversial. And I believe, let's see, what's the bill number?
698, Chair Jordan.
698. Okay, yes. So Ben, would you please explain the bill?
I certainly can. And Chair Ely, just if it's helpful, I think it's possible that Mako may have been invited as well in case there's any other, because I know they have an amendment. But just I don't see them in the lobby or in our meeting yet. But I'm all happy to go through the bill now.
Okay, let me just check with Keisha and see if is Mako on? Okay, there's somebody from MML, but not from Mako on the.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead.
Thank you. So HB 698, the title is Local Government, Development Impact Fees, Surcharges, and Excise Taxes Reporting. This is cross-file with Senate Bill 814. There's no fiscal impact. There is a local mandate. It's requiring local governments to comply with a reporting requirement. There are friendly amendments per the sponsor from Mako. And with those amendments, it is supported by Mako. The additional testimony at the bill hearing, Maryland builders were favorable, Maryland realtors were favorable. So this bill is about local government transparency for impact fees and excise taxes. Right now, impact fees and excise taxes are used by local governments to gather revenues from builders for public facilities that are required as a result of the development, and to help shift costs from and financing from existing taxpayers to individuals who are responsible for the development. Mako notes that Maryland counties must go through an analysis to determine appropriate levels of fees, and these are decisions that are subject to judicial review. development impact fee is regulatory measures designed to fund facilities specifically required by new development projects to mitigate the impact that they have. And then excise taxes are another means of raising revenue from new development, but it does not have to be as closely related to the actual cost of providing public facilities. So the bill requires that counties that are imposing impact fees and excise taxes report to the governor and General Assembly on the amount of the development impact fees or excise taxes paid by new development, the portion of the development impact fee or excise tax paid to the county by the legislative districts where the development's located, the portion of those fees that are used to fund projects related to transportation, school construction, or other authorized projects. The report needs to be on the county's website or other publicly available means. I can also go through the amendment, but it's rather technical, not really substantive. So.
Oh, so it's a technical amendment. Okay, so maybe we could get into the discussion of the bill before us. I know that Delegate Terrassa has some questions. Why don't we start with you?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My first question is just, can we see the amendment, or did you send it and I just don't know where that is? I'm not comfortable with it unless I can see.
Yeah, because it got added earlier this afternoon, there's not like a finalized amendment, but there is Mako's testimony in the floor system. What they want to do is, right now, the language in the bill references the type of reporting based on legislative, councilmanic, or commissioner district, and they are proposing to change that to geographic area because it's my understanding that counties do not track impact fees in this way.
Madam Chair, could we pull that up? Because I'm very visual, so it's hard for me to picture.
Yeah,
Hey, Ben, do you have the ability to do that?
I think so. One moment. I sent a request to share my screen.
Just hold on a second. Just. Okay,
1 second.
there you go. Something's gonna come up. I don't know what.
All right. The amendment, this
There
is,
we are.
and if I'll try to, this is the
Try to make it as large as you can so we can read along.
short. This is the testimony from Mako. The part about their amendment here, it's requested, they're saying strike legislative through district in 2 instances in the bill.
But can you walk us through, like, I just need to see it with the bill
Yep.
and
Yep.
the pages, like, if you could just say what that's.
Just read the language of the proposed amendment. It's
Yep.
very short.
I think this, so here's, if this is a little bit more helpful, hopefully. Yeah, I know there's, so here's Delegate Terrassa. There's the first, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, the request is on page 3, lines 2 to 3. And so on the right-hand side, we're striking legislative through district. And so this is one of the reporting requirements in the bill. And because counties don't track impact fees in this manner, the proposal is to put geographic area here in place of that. And then they're proposing the same thing in lines 8 through 9 in the same manner. Yeah.
So they're taking out the legislative district as a reporting location.
Well, legislative, councilmanic, and commissioner district, and making it geographic area, which could be the same as a legislative district, but might not be.
Right, but it's easier to see on a map.
Yeah.
So you have any issues with that?
No, I mean, I need to take, well, let's hear from the sponsor. Seems like he has something to say, and there's another question while I look to see what my other questions might be.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll go to the sponsor, Delegate Allen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And, thanks, Ben, for pulling this up. I think this is really, really helpful. Yeah, in my conversations with Mako, this is, again, basically what's been said. Um, there's concern that counties don't track the info in this way. Um, I'm not married to the phrase geographic area either. I don't know if there's another idea, a zip code or something like that. That might be.
Census tract.
Yeah, right. Anything, literally anything else that would be more useful. I do agree with Mako though that broadly speaking, I don't think tracking these things by councilmanic, legislative, or commissioner districts is practical or really helpful. It just again, I'm honestly mostly concerned, and I was talking with Delegate Terrassa about this a little bit too. I'm mostly concerned about the county as a whole, right? I want to see which counties are collecting these fees and what they're doing with them, who's doing it best, um, and looking at it from that perspective, and overall in terms of transparency. So, whatever the will of the subcommittee is about the specifics, especially in regards to Mako's proposed amendment, I am fine with. Again, I think the intent here is overall transparency and again, at the county level, I think is what's most important. So I'll leave it there. And if anyone has any questions for me, let me know. But thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Delegate Lehman.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Delegate Allen, for that explanation. I was curious. I can't say I remember. The hearing, even though I think it was this week or it was recent. I just wasn't that focused. I was curious if you could say. Well, I have one question about the bill, which is who. To whom or where will counties provide this information? Where will it go, these reports?
In the bill it says it's to the. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ben. Was that you?
Ben?
Did you just say it doesn't say?
No, Ben will tell you. Hold on.
So yeah, if right, so to try to answer that question, right now we have in subsection D here on line 16, if that's responsive, a county shall make the report publicly available on the county's website, but it's also being submitted to the governor and the General Assembly on or before July 1 each year.
Okay, well, by putting it seems to me on a county website, that's where folks would go to look for it, right? I don't think residents of counties are going to necessarily go looking to the state to dig up this stuff. So that does make sense. Delegate Allen, I'm just curious where I'm all for more transparency as well, especially as a former council member and someone that lives in the unincorporated part of a county. So that's the county is my nearest local level of government. Where did the idea for the legislation come from, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah. So I think we're all kind of aware of at least I've learned as I've been in Annapolis, how counties kind of get caught in the middle sometimes in terms of funding and building, if they want to build schools and all that stuff. So I'm really interested in, and I think it's a relatively recent development that we've authorized counties to charge impact fees or excise taxes, depending on how they call them, to developers when it comes to these things. And I think there's a wide range of how counties are doing this and what they're doing with that money. And I'm just really interested, like I said, I'm interested in the transparency aspect of it, and how effective it is in the counties that are doing it well. And I'm interested in seeing which counties aren't doing it well and why they're not doing it well, or why they're not collecting any fees. For example, there are a number of counties that shall remain nameless that have gone years while they've collected $0 in impact fees multiple times in a row because they've carved out so many exemptions for developers, and then they're shocked when they can't afford to build new schools. So that's really what I'm after here is transparency, but also kind of a little bit of accountability when it comes to what we're actually collecting or what we're not collecting.
Great, good for you. And one final quick question, Madam Chair, if I might. Um, does the bill address fee in lieu situations, or only where there were actual fees that get collected? Does it specify, if somebody is trying to get out of, an impact fee and they can pay in some other way or elsewhere, or is it only, I can't imagine what county, you don't have to say what you're talking about where there aren't fees collected for years. I've never heard of that. That seems kind of astonishing, but I appreciate that that's what you're trying to get at. I think that's very smart.
Ben, can you answer Delegate Lehman's question?
I think yes, thank you, Chair Haley. I think that might be answered by, or you might get information or insight to that. Line 28 on this page right here.
Can you show us that? Yeah.
Yeah, paragraph 1.
Yeah, because I didn't see that this bill was added, and so I apologize, but I was not aware of that, or I would have looked it up in advance of the meeting.
So yeah, this part, it says that they're reporting on the total amount of development impact fees or excise taxes paid. So if there's a fee in lieu, I guess it wouldn't be counted.
Okay.
And it's similar for 2 there, like they're, a portion of the impact fees paid to the county by the districts. And if there's nothing coming because of fee in lieu, you would have.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Delegate Allen.
Okay, Delegate Morgan.
That not get the volume back on. So thank you, Madam Chair. I guess a couple questions for you. So when you talk about a fee in lieu, are we referring to a pilot program at the same time? Payment in lieu of taxes?
Ben?
I think, of course, it could be case specific, but generally I understand that there's often the opportunity, like you can, I'm not sure about, I think that depends on the specific case. But there may, I don't think this is really, I think this is really more focused on development impact fees and the excise taxes. Fee in lieu, I think, is another type of like tax or fee imposed that's generally related to like if for affordable housing requirements in lieu of building affordable housing, you can pay a fee in lieu. That type.
Okay, then Delegate Allen, I mean, I guess my question is when you get to some of these rural counties and you start to break it down, in the way you're asking for it by, say, a commissioner district, when some places, the commissioner districts have water and sewer, and many of them you're on well and septic and things like that, would it be easier just to break it down by saying by county rather than trying to go to legislative councilman or commissioner district in which it conducts and whatever it says there in paragraph 2?
Right, that's why the MACO's proposed amendments that we're accepting, Delegate Morgan, take that part out. So we're not even dealing with districts. We're dealing with geographic areas.
Define a geographic area would be a county.
Yeah, or town, I guess, or census designated area, something like that. But it doesn't have, I think leaving that broad kind of gives the counties more flexibility rather than being I think including the legislative or commissioner or council manager district is probably as specific as we could possibly get. And then by taking that away and leaving geographic area, that kind of opens things up for the counties to have a little more choice in how they break it down.
Okay,
But I think again, overall, I think the goal is to see it kind of county by county, since the counties are the one charging these fees themselves.
understand. Then the other question is, what about the everyone's budgets are scraped this year, and not knowing what's going to happen up here, it sort of seems like you're creating an unfunded mandate for them to come up with another report that gets sent up here, and then who's going to review the report for efficiency, accuracy, and then once you get the report, what are we going to do with it?
Yeah, that's why it was really important for me to get MACO's support on this. I don't know, if every county necessarily would have the manpower to conduct this without any sort of funding increase, but again, I've been assured that by and large, Mako is confident that it could be done under current funding levels.
Okay, thank you.
And Delegate Morgan, that is reflected in the fiscal note as well, which says the local governments can comply with the bill's reporting requirements within existing resources. Local government operations and finances are not materially affected. So
Madam Chair, I saw that just, after being a commissioner down in St. Mary's for 12 years, sometimes when I read those fiscal notes as the Mako rep versus reading the Mako notes now as the delegate, they sometimes are competing purposes. Let's put it that way.
So do you have any concerns further that you want to consult with somebody? We don't have to vote on this today unless you want to.
Yeah, I would personally just like to talk to the treasurer and the fiscal people down in St. Mary's about, is this something that's pretty simple to be able to do? If it is, hey, say la vie. But if they say, Todd, we have enough things to track down here as it is for the state, this is just one more thing that adds to the pile.
Oh, we could take this up at another meeting then. I don't know
Thank
when
you,
we're gonna
ma'am.
meet. I'll try to meet as needed. So I'm not exactly sure. I don't know that we'll have a special meeting just for this one bill, but
Okay.
it'll be on the next agenda when we meet again, if that's all right with everybody. I am gonna ask Delegate Terrasa if she could has other questions that we can answer today.
Yeah, I have a couple comments and maybe a question. First of all, I think this is probably a really good bill. I apologize for not looking at it closer before today, but I really like the idea behind it. My guess is, or my sense is, having been in county government for 12 years, but not on the executive side, that they're already reporting on this. So I don't see how this would add a lot of burden to them. And it sounds like that's kind of what Mako says, but I completely appreciate what you're saying. Delegate Morgan, having also been in local government, I understand what you're saying. They could be at odds. I do think it would be helpful to the bill for it also to ask for them to do the total by county, because I wouldn't want the information to be so fragmented that you don't see sort of how the whole county is doing with it. And Mako probably even has that information in some report that they've done, but it'd be nice if we're pulling it all together to put it in the same place. I don't know how Delegate Allen feels about that one. And related to that, I'd really love for the report, since it's coming to us, to set forth the related local provisions in law, just so that, because otherwise in looking at it, it would be very difficult for any of us to sort of assess the success or failure of it if we don't know what the regulation is that has led to the amounts that they're reporting. So I don't know if you take either of those as either or both of those as a friendly amendment. But that is sort of my thinking. And then I do have two questions. One is, in relation to Delegate Lehman's questions, what I saw that the excise fee and the impact fees, but what are surcharges? And you did say that earlier, and I'm sorry, I just don't remember what you said about what surcharges are. That may just make it broader, which I think is good.
So real quick, if I may, Madam Chair, the first suggestion from Delegate Terrasa, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, I think that is in there. I think that's line 28 on page 2. The total amount is that I understand that to be the total amount from the county. Does that make sense, Ben?
Ben, you're on mute.
Oh, okay.
Sharing my screen again. Does that, yeah,
Does that
page,
mean the total for the county? Since 2
I'm,
is more
yeah,
specific than 1 might be the whole county.
yeah, the way I'm reading it, each county shall report the following information, and then it's going to be the total
Okay,
amount.
so that's already taken care of. Thank you, Delegate Allen. And then the second one was the sending forth the regulations. I don't know how you feel about that. Like, there's so many different regulations, like, I mean, not regulations, but they're local laws that create the impact fees, that it'd be hard to sort of assess what was happening if you don't know which pieces of that are leading to it, and they would easily know that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that if as long as Ben doesn't think it would otherwise materially affect the bill. And then I also think you had a question about the surcharge, or whatever.
Surcharges, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I don't know if there's a huge material difference between impact fee, surcharge, and excise taxes that we're talking about here. I think different counties call them different things. And I think that's why we're trying to include them. But I don't know if there's a practical difference between them. Again, Ben, correct me.
Yeah, it's interesting because I believe impact fees and excise taxes are at least in Howard County, are two different things. So I thought surcharges might be a third thing. And again, probably a good thing.
Chair Healy.
Okay, I think, I think we could look at these in the interim between now and when we actually take this up again. So,
Yes, if we could find that out. And I have one other question, sorry.
so yeah, Delegate Trouser, if you would like maybe formulate your questions in an email or something so that
Sure.
Ben can do the research and come up with some answers.
Sure. And then just so you know, just so I laid out there, the last question I had related to, which might be an easy one to answer, on page 3, lines 13 through 15, say, if the funding under subsection B3 of the section is collected under subtitle 8, the report may exclude the information otherwise required in B3. I didn't know what that meant, but if I can put that down in a question if it's not an easy one to answer.
Yeah, would you do that? Because
Yeah.
we're
Will
all
do.
having a motor vehicle subcommittee meeting later this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
No, that's quite all right. And I'm glad you're being so thorough, but we will have time before the next meeting to take this up, since we are not going to vote on it today. Delegate Lehman, you had a question as well, I believe.
No, Madam Chair, I was actually going to just suggest that we hold it because of these questions. And I will put I have two additional questions I will put in writing for Ben and copy Delegate Allen.
I'd copy me too, okay?
Oh, I will. Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
So so I'm prepared as well. So, and I will be talking to Ben after a while after he's had a chance to look at all of this. In the meantime, I think when we meet again on this bill, we should make an effort we had invited Mako to be here for today, but this bill was not on the agenda at the time we sent the invitation. So they definitely have an interest in this one. So I think we should probably make sure that they are invited again and they know that this is the bill we're taking up. Other than that, is there anything else that the subcommittee needs to do today? I'm not aware of anything, so I think we can adjourn if that's okay with everyone. Okay, we'll do that. We'll adjourn and we'll have those two bills that we did vote on the voting list tomorrow. And Ben, if you would stay on, we could talk after everybody leaves. Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Okay, let's see.
It might still be streaming too, Chair Healy.
Oh, turn off the streaming too, okay?
Um,